So now that we're unhooked, we're going to make sure that our air horns are safe and secure. Our sun visor is sitting straight and it appears secure. Our 5 marker lights on our sun visor are secure and working. There's no damage or cracks to the windshield. The side mirrors look good and safe and secure. The hood has no damage. My fender mirrors look secure from here. There's no obstruction in the grille. The headlights are working on low beam and the 4-way flashers are working. The bumper is secure and sitting level, which would, if it wasn't, it would indicate a broken leaf spring or a shock. Our license plate is secure and valid, and the last thing we're going to check for underneath is to make sure there are no leaks under the truck. Okay, now we can pop our hood. Okay, so 3 points of contact. I have a foot on the ground, a foot on the foot holder, and my hand on the hood. Pull it up and I'm going to cradle it so it doesn't fall. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to come around here. First thing we want to check is our inspection sticker, and we're going to make sure it's valid. And this one is until March of 2018. The wiper blade has sufficient tension and is in good shape. Then we're going to come down here to the top of the engine. We're looking for any oil leaks. We don't see any. Keep coming up. Our rubber hose, there's no ABCs on it, and the hose clamps are nice and tight on both ends. Our rad support, safe and secure, no missing nuts or bolts. Here we have our coolant reservoir, safe and secure, the caps are on there tight, and it has sufficient fluid for the day. Coming to the front, we have our rad. We don't see any cracks or leaks on the side of it, and our hood strap, there's no cuts or frays, okay? Coming down to our air-to-air pipe, we have flex hoses. There's no ABCs, and all 4 clamps are safe and secure, nice and tight. There's no dents, cracks, or welds in our steel pipe. I'm going to check the oil, make sure the oil cap is on nice and tight, safe and secure. Pull the dipstick out. Looking for 3 main things in here. You want to make sure there's enough oil in it. You're going to make sure there's no metal shavings and there's no contaminants or milky coloring, okay? Everything's good there. We put it back in. Now we're going to come back and check all of our air lines. We're looking for ABCs, which is abrasions, bulges, and cuts. And any wiring, we're looking for CCFCs, which is cuts, cracks, frays, and corrosion. And we don't see any along here. So we're going to look back in. We can see our starter mounted safe and secure. And there's no CCFCs on the wiring going to it. Coming back up, we have our air compressor right in here. There's no leaks, and it's safe and secure to the side of the engine. Coming up, we have our power steering pump, safe and secure with no leaks. We have no ABCs on our power steering lines. Our fuel water separator is safe and secure and it's not leaking. There's no ABCs or any leaks coming off the lines. We have our steering shaft with less than 1/4 inch of play. There should be a rubber boot up in here that has no ABCs on it. And our U-joints, top and bottom, are both sufficiently greased and in good shape with no missing hardware. Our washer fluid reservoir, safe and secure, caps on tight, and we have enough washer fluid in there for the day. Coming down here to our power steering reservoir, safe and secure, caps are on tight, and we have sufficient fluid in there for the day. No ABCs on this power steering fluid line, and the clamps are both tight. Our gear shaft is, our gear box is safe and secure to the frame. There's no leaks or missing bolts. Our frame has no cracks, welds, or shiny spots, and there's no missing nuts or bolts anywhere on it. Come down to our pitman arm, safe and secure with the bolt and nut on the top, and a castle nut with the cotter pin on the bottom, which is connected to our drag link, which has a castle nut and cotter pin back there. It's safe and secure. Our front and rear leaf spring hangers are safe and secure. There's no missing nuts or bolts. Our leaf springs themselves have no cracks, welds, or shiny spots, and they're in line with each other. Our U-bolts on the axle, there's no signs of shiny spots, which would indicate one would be moving, so they're safe and secure. Coming to our air line, safe and secure with no ABCs, and your ABS line has no CCFCs. Our shock is mounted properly, top and bottom, with no leaks or damage. Our brake chamber is safe and secure. We have automatic slack adjusters, so we will mark and measure the push rod travel to be within 1 to 1.5 inches. We're going to check the inside of our rim for any dents, cracks, or welds or hub fluid leaks. We don't see any, so we're going to come up to the side of our inside wall of our tire. There's no ABCs. Across the top we have even tread wear at no less than 4/32. No ABCs on the outside. Our rim has no dents, cracks, or welds in it. Our hub fluid, we'll pop the cap off and make sure there's enough in there and make sure it's not milky or contaminated. Put this back on and give it a little twist. Make sure it's seated in there properly. All 10 lug nuts are safe and secure and they're all present. And there's no rust streaks which should indicate a loose lug nut. Our hub cap, or hub, what would we call that?
Well, it's a hubcap.
It is a hubcap. So you're going to make sure there's no leaks and all the bolts are tight. And you have a metal valve stem with a metal cap. Okay? Come up here to your inner fender, safe and secure. Your bumper, safe and secure. Your inner fender here, safe and secure. And your headlight housing, safe and secure with no CCFCs on the wiring. And that's it for this side. So we're going to come around here. Check our mirror arms, make sure it's safe and secure and there's no broken or missing glass. Get a better look at the hood here, there's no damage. This mirror, same thing, we're going to check and make sure it's safe and secure and there's no broken or missing glass. Come around here, we're going to start at the front now. So our inner fender is safe and secure. Our headlight housing, safe and secure with no CCFCs on the wiring. Our hood strap has no cuts or frays. Up in here we have our air intake. There's no bird's nest or debris in there. Might as well check this air intake now too. There's no bird's nest or debris in there and the filter looks half decent. Gonna look at your AC condenser. Make sure it's mounted safe and secure and there's no leaks. Your top rad hose, there's no ABCs and the clamps on it are nice and tight. This is a steel tubing, part of your rad hose. You're looking for dents, cracks, or welds. Okay. Any of the wiring on this side, we're looking for CCFCs, and any of the air conditioning lines here, we're looking for ABCs. We have our AC compressor here. It's mounted safe and secure, and our alternator is mounted safe and secure with no cuts, cracks, frays, or corrosion, or CCFCs. Our belt has no cuts or frays, and there's less than 1/4 inch of play on it. Over here we can see our fan. We're going to make sure that all the blades are there and there's no broken or missing pieces. We're not going to stick our hand in there because it is electrical and it can turn on at any time. Our fan shroud, safe and secure with no broken or missing pieces. This side we have our rad support, safe and secure with no missing nuts or bolts. We have our air-to-air on this side. The flex hoses have no ABCs and all 4 clamps are tight and we have no dents, cracks, or welds in the steel tubing. Alright, going to come back here and look at our turbo. We're looking for 2 types of leaks on the turbo. One would be wet and one would be dry. Wet is oil leaks, dry is soot, the black powder. Okay, got to make sure that everything is safe and secure on our breather box and our in-cab air filter. Everything's good there. Our hood support, hood support, I guess, yeah. Safe and secure and the rubber's good. Inner fender, safe and secure. We're going to look down in here. We can see a little bit of our exhaust on the back. There's no holes. The clamps are tight and there's no signs of any soot for leaking. The frame here has no dents, cracks, or welds, shiny spots, or missing nuts or bolts. Our bumper bracket, safe and secure. Our bumper is safe and secure. Our front and rear leaf springs, spring hangers, safe and secure with no missing nuts or bolts. The leaf springs have no dents, welds, shiny spots, or cracks, and they're in line with each other. You have your U-bolts back here. They are not showing any signs of shiny spots, so they're tight and secure. We have our shock mounted top and bottom, safe and secure. Down inside there we have our center link, which I forgot to mention on the other side, but it is secure with a castle nut and cotter pin. Automatic slack adjusters on this side again. You mark and measure. How much?
1 to 1.5
inch to 1.5 inches, exactly. No ABCs on the airline, no CCFCs on your ABS line, and your brake pod is mounted securely. No dents, cracks, or welds or hub fluid leaks on the inside of your rim. No ABCs on the inside of your tire wall. Even tread wear at no less than 4/32 of an inch. No ABCs on the outside. And we're going to check all of our lug nuts again to make sure they're all there. None of them are loose and there's no rust streaks, okay? The hub, we're making sure it's not leaking, and we pop the cap off on this side and check for quality and quantity again, all right? I don't believe I missed anything on this side. It was quick, but anyway. Windshield wiper, safe and secure, and there's sufficient tension on the windshield. The windshield is good on this side. We're going to come back here and we're going to look at all of the glass on the door. The mirror is safe and secure, and there's no broken or missing glass anywhere, including the top mirror. You're going to open your door, check your door pins by pulling up on it. They're nice and tight. Swing the door open. We have 3 grab handles, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to check those and our 2 steps all at the same time. So this grab handle is good, and this step is good. This grab handle is good. This step is good. This grab handle is good. And our sun visor is safe and secure, okay? Come back down with 3 points of contact. Shut your door. Make sure it latches properly, okay? Now we're going to check our fuel tank. The very first thing we want to check on that is our vent hose. We're going to pull it up around, make sure there's no obstructions in the bottom of it, and there should be a little bit of moisture there to indicate that it is working properly. Once we've checked that and verified it, we're going to open the fuel cap looking away so that we don't get splashed by fuel. Okay, we're good. We have a safety chain, which is there. We have a rubber gasket inside, which is there. And we're going to take a peek down inside the fuel tank to see how much fuel is really in there, because you can't always trust the fuel gauge. Okay. Push down and twist. That's locked. Now we're going to check the overall tank, make sure there's no damage or leaks. The metal straps are secure front and back, and they have rubber gaskets underneath them to prevent chafing. Okay. Side of the body has no damage. The marker light is working, and it is safe and secure with no CCFCs on the bottom of the wires. Going to look at your stack, make sure it's straight. All the exhaust clamps are there. We don't see any soot, which would indicate a leak. Our heat shield is safe and secure with no missing nuts or bolts, top and bottom. Our grab handle to get up here is safe and secure. Our exhaust bracket is safe and secure. The shocks on both sides are safe and secure, top and bottom, with no cracks or damage or leaks. Our airbags, both sides, have no ABCs on them, and they're safe and secure. Down in under here we have our U-joints and our drive shaft. The U-joint has sufficient grease and it's not missing any nuts or bolts. The drive shaft is straight. We have our air lines with no ABCs and our electrical cord with no CCFCs on it. And there's no damage to the back of the cab anywhere. Our steps here are safe and secure. They're not going to go anywhere. And our frame is straight with no dents, cracks, welds, shiny spots, and no missing nuts or bolts. Underneath our catwalk, this comes off in 2 pieces. We have our battery compartment. Okay, on the batteries we're looking for 5 major things. The first off, we want to make sure that they're secure and in place. Second thing we want to make sure is there's no bulges from overcharging or freezing. We want to make sure that there's no rotten egg smell, which would indicate a leak somewhere. We want to make sure that there's no CCFCs on any of the wires, and we want to make sure that all of our terminals are nice and tight, which they are. So we can put this back on. Okay, we're going to make sure our U-joint on this end has no missing nuts or bolts, and it's sufficiently greased. There's no dents, cracks, or welds on the cross member, and looking at our differential, everything is there, not leaking, and in good shape. We have our 5th wheel locking piston back here, safe and secure, and the air line going to it. There's no ABCs. Our torsion bar, safe and secure, with no missing nuts or bolts. And we have a vent hose down here with no obstructions on the bottom of it so that it can vent pressure. We're going to check here. We have our mud flap or quarter fender, safe and secure. We have our leaf spring hanger here. We're going to look at our leaf springs, make sure there's no cracks, welds, or shiny spots, and they're in line with each other. We have our U-bolts, safe and secure. They're not moving, which would indicate any shiny spots indicating movement. Our brake chambers down here, safe and secure. Our shock absorber, mounted securely top and bottom with no damage or leaks. The inner rim, we're looking for dents, cracks, or welds, or any hub fluid leaking. Inner wall, ABCs. We're going to check our tires, make sure that there's even tread wear at no less than 2/32 of an inch on the back. There's no obstructions in between the duals. And we're going to check to make sure that we have two metal valve stems with two metal caps. They should be opposites of each other. Going to check our hub, make sure all the bolts are tight, it's not leaking. Our outside rim has no dents, cracks, or welds. All the lug nuts are there, safe and secure with no rust streaks indicating one would be loose. Coming up to our fifth wheel, the first thing we want to check is make sure it's adequately greased. That it has a pivot pin with a locking pin and a cotter pin in it. And this is our adjustment bolt for our jaws, okay? We're not missing any teeth. The fifth wheel is in the lock position and all the bed bolts are tight and secure. No shiny spots indicating one would be loose. Our airbags are deflated right now for some reason. Anyway, we would check for ABCs on those. We're going to check our frame rail back here, make sure that it's safe and secure with no dents, welds, or shiny spots, no cracks, and there's no missing nuts or bolts. Our rear brake chamber is safe and secure. We have our front rear spring hanger, safe and secure. The springs are in line with each other and there's no cracks, welds, or shiny spots. And the U-bolts are both good. Shock absorber mounted securely top and bottom with no damage or leaks. Inside of our rim again, we're looking for dents, cracks, or welds and any hub fluid leaking. There's no ABCs on the inner wall. Even tread wear, no less than 2/32, and there's no obstructions in between. No ABCs on the outer wall there or the inner wall here. No ABCs on the outer wall here. The rim has no dents, cracks, or welds. All 10 lug nuts are there, safe and secure, nice and tight, and there's no rust streaks indicating a loose nut. Our hub nuts are all tight, and we have no hub fluid. 2 metal valve stems, 2 metal valve cubs, 1 on each rim, okay? Come back here to your mud flap. It's safe and secure, no more than 10 inches off the ground, okay? Now in here, we're going to name off everything we can see. So we're going to start at the top with our relay valve. It is mounted safe and secure, and there's no ABCs on any of the air hoses. The short shaft, jack shaft, drive shaft, whatever you want to call it, safe and secure with the U-joint has no missing nuts or bolts, and it is sufficiently greased, okay? We're going to look down and take a peek at our slack adjusters to make sure they're on a 90-degree angle right now because our brakes are applied. This only works for spring brake chambers. The front ones are only air. You can mark and measure no matter what. Now we have our torsion bar here again, safe and secure with no missing nuts or bolts. Our rear differential is in good shape. It's not leaking. And our vent hose here has no obstructions and there's so that it can breathe out any pressure. All of our wires and air lines have no CCFCs or ABCs in them. Our airbags, again, they're down right now, but you'd be looking for ABCs when they're pumped up. You're going to check that your lights back here are working. You're going to check and make sure your license plate light is working, that your reverse light is there and intact, and that your plate here is safe and secure, valid, and matches the one on the front. When you come to this side, everything is the exact same as over there except for your fifth wheel pin puller. Fifth wheel pin handle. You're going to come up here. You have your marker light here again. You don't have any steps on this side of your tractor. In here we have 3 pieces of safety equipment. We have a fire extinguisher, a first aid kit, and 3 roadside triangles. And that's an air tank. Your air tank here is safe and secure. And there's no leaks. Okay, we drain all of our air tanks daily. Alright, so that is everything for the truck. I'm going to start the trailer. When you're here for the trailer, you're going to start at the very top. You're going to make sure that your marker lights are there, that you have no body damage or missing rivets. You're going to walk up here, make sure your trailer number is there, and it's the right trailer that you're picking up. Your document holder is there, safe and secure, and there's 3 pieces of documentation in there, which is your registration, inspection, and insurance. You have your glad hand receivers. You're going to make sure that your rubber seals are in good shape. Your nose plug is in good shape. The spring is there, and it has some tension on it. There's no broken pins, no damage, and no corrosion in there. And this one here, you're also going to check your rubber seal, make sure it's in good condition, and there's no ABCs on any of your airlines. Okay. Underneath, we're going to make sure that we have our kingpin and it's straight, not bent or broken, and our pickup plate along here has no cracks, welds, or shiny spots. Okay. Going to check our manufacturing decal, make sure it's here. Then we're going to come around to the side of it here and look down. Make sure there's no bulges, which would indicate a load shifting. Then we'll go around to the side. Every 8 feet or 2 panels, we're going to check for body damage and missing rivets. So we're going to start at the top and make our way down. There is a marker light on the side here that we can't see, but we'll check that later to see if it's working. There's no missing rivets or no body damage on the first 2 panels. Our rub rail is safe and secure the whole length of the trailer. We have reflective tape the whole length of the trailer that is visible, and we have a safety inspection sticker which is valid until March of 2018. Okay, we're going to come back here, we're going to check underneath. All of our cross members are in good shape, they're not bent or broken, and there's no floor damage. Okay, we have our gear shaft under here on our legs. It's not bent or broken, and it has a nut and bolt on each side to make the legs come up and down. Our cross members are tight and secure with no missing nuts or bolts. Our cross members here, nice and tight and secure with no missing nuts or bolts. Our crank handle works in low gear and high gear, and it's safe and secure, and it can hang in the hanger. Both of the legs are adequately greased, and they have feet on the bottom of them. Okay, we're going to check our side skirt here, make sure it's safe and secure, not missing any nuts or bolts or rivets. Our marker light safe and secure. Then we're going to climb underneath. Under here, we're going to make sure our air lines and our electrical line have no ABCs or CCFCs, and they're suspended by at least 2 springs. This one has 3. And we can check our floor again for broken or bent cross members and no floor damage. Now in under here, we have our air tank, our air reservoir. We're making sure that it's safe and secure, that it's drained daily. And coming off of it, there's a relay valve with all the air hoses, making sure there's no ABCs on any of those. And we have our ECU for our ABS unit, making sure that there's no CCFCs on any of our ABS lines. Our airbags are safe and secure with no ABCs. Our shocks, safe and secure, top and bottom, with no leaks or cracks or damage. And we can check our axle here, the dead axle, to make sure there's no welds, cracks, or shiny spots. Okay, now we're going to check our inner rims on both sides. There's no dents, cracks, or welds, or any hub fluid leaking. And we can check our inner walls of our tires here to make sure there's no ABCs. Okay, we're going to check our pin release valve, make sure it is in the lock position. And we can tell this because on the slider rail, we can see the pins are out up there.
Oh yeah.
The pins are out. Okay. The trailer is the same tread depth as the back of the truck. Even tread wear, no less than 2/32 of an inch. Going to check our inner rim, or the inside of our rim, for dents, cracks, or welds. All the lug nuts are there. There's no rust streaks indicating one would be loose. There's no leaks on the hub, and we cannot check the fluid on this because it's a sealed unit. Okay, the rear axle is the exact same as the front, except for you have a mud flap. It has to be safe and secure, no more than 10 inches off the ground. And on the rear, right in here, in front of the airbag, we have a leveling valve. See the rod with all the holes in it?
Yeah.
That's our leveling valve. We want to make sure it's safe and secure so that the airbags have sufficient air in them. Okay? Then we'll come out here. We have our door latch. Our door restraint is there, safe and secure with no missing nuts or bolts or rivets. We have our ABS light, which is there and clear. We have our marker light, which is clear. Then we can come around to the back. Which we're going to go to the very top and make sure all 5 marker lights are there and present. You can't see them right now because they're dirty and hiding. Our camshafts or tubes are straight. They're locked at the top and the bottom, and our handles are in the lock position. We have no broken or missing hinges, and all of the hardware is there for them. We have DOT or reflective tape across the bottom of the door. All 4 red marker tail lights are there, safe and secure, and they're not broken. Our dock bumpers, safe and secure on both sides. Our DOT bumper is safe and secure with no aftermarket welds, and it has reflective tape across it. We have a license plate which is valid. Where this is an Ontario plate, there is no sticker, it's just a one-time deal. And we have a license plate light up underneath there that we'll check when we hook up. Now, the only differences from this side to that side are we don't have an ABS light on this side. We do not have our pin release valve on this side. We don't have our dolly leg crank handle on this side. We don't have our glad hand receivers on this side, and we don't have our inspection sticker on this side. Those are the differences. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Very good job, Jeremy.